Hey everyone, Mr. MC here. This is guide for round 23 of the manufacturer series. Let's get this started. Bring yourself to the right and brake just before you reach the 100-meter mark. Brake hard for a short while, gently ease off of the brakes as you turn in. Do not get onto the grass on the inside of the turn and gradually start to accelerate. Now open yourself up by going a bit more to the right, then bring yourself to the left going at full throttle. Now use the ambulance on the right as your next braking point. Gently ease off of the brakes, just bring yourself to the apex and quickly start to accelerate and bring yourself to the left. Now shortly after the red and white barriers on the left start, you want to use some of your braking power. Just bring yourself as close as you can to the curbs on the right, and you want to time the acceleration just right so you can land on the curbs or just close to it, but not end up on the gravel. Now bring yourself to the left and you can use this green crane on the left as your next braking point. So you'll be braking just as you pass it, get on the curbs to open up a bit more for this apex and quickly start to accelerate. Now bring yourself to the right and use some of your braking power to get really close to the apex and quickly start to accelerate. When the curb on the right ends, you can start to turn in. Just try to take this turn at full throttle and then stick to the right side of the track. Now for this last turn, you want to brake as you start to pass the billboards that are on the right. So you brake hard for a short moment, ease off of the brakes, and just take your time just letting the car navigate its way through the turn so then you can start to fully accelerate and not end up off track and end up getting a penalty. But that is it for the lap guide. Let's go ahead and talk about the strategies. For the qualifying session, you're going to have 10 minutes to try to get a good qualifying time. So you're going to want to make use of the slipstream as that will help shave off a couple tenths off your lap time, and that's going to be particularly useful when you're going down the main straight and a bit less when you're going through the back straight. If you happen to be in a situation where you cannot get the slipstream from someone during the start of the qualifying session, don't worry about it, just get a couple laps down just in case things don't go well. So get that lap time down, then try to find someone to get the slipstream out of. The sooner you can do it, the better. And with this long qualifying session, you can do a couple of laps. I will say 2 to 3 qualifying laps before you do the jump out and jump back in strategy, just as you see here. And of course, don't get in anyone's way. But anyways, even though the tire wear rate is pretty low, which is at ×2, the tire wear can still affect your car in tiny ways, just not providing all of the grip that you need to try to get the best qualifying times. So I would say just once again, do 2 to 3 qualifying laps, jump out, jump back in. That way, when you start your first qualifying lap in each new stint, your tires will be under the best conditions. That way you can get the absolute most out of your racing medium tires. For the race strategy, this is going to be a super easy no-stop race. So the tire wear rate is a ×2, so that's not going to be an issue at all. And even though the fuel consumption rate is a ×4, we are on a short track and we are using Group 4 cars, so they're not going to be using as much fuel as, say, the Group 3 cars. So because of that, fuel is not going to be an issue as well. So this is an all-out race, and you want to try to stay within the slipstream of the cars ahead of you. That way you can keep up with them, especially on the main straight. And if you are under someone's slipstream, make sure you brake a little bit earlier as you approach the hairpins. That way you do not send them to the shadow realm. And there is one last thing that I would like to mention, and that's going to have to do with the final turn. You want to try to be very careful as you go through that final turn, because it's going to be really easy to mess it up, and by that I mean just end up going wide. So this turn right here, just take your time going through it, get the car pointing where you want to go while it stays on the track or even on the red and white curbs. Just do not get all 4 tires onto the blue area or onto the grass. That way you can avoid getting the track penalty. But anyways, that is pretty much it for this guide. Once again, easy all-out race. I'm going to go ahead and sign off now. So this is Mr. MCA making a comeback, and I'll see you in the next video.